right, well, something new is coming to Louisville, and it's going to have us all in high spirits. Prova Spirits is a new distillery with an emphasis on Italian liquors. And joining me in the Charlie Wilson KitchenAid Kitchen to tell us the story behind the business is founder Giuseppe. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So while we get started here, this is a beautiful setup. The best way to start a Wednesday morning.
Absolutely.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about what inspired you to start Prova Spirits?
I think I always leaned towards wishing that I worked in a more creative field. I've always enjoyed cooking at home. I've always enjoyed making drinks, making concoctions and stuff like that. And it started when I was much, much younger. My family obviously did a lot of cooking at home. My nonna was always making different sauces, pastas, and I always just like sat in the kitchen and watch her cook all the time.
Yeah.
So I kind of carried that with me, I think, throughout most of my life. And limoncello was actually the first time I tried anyone's limoncello. It was my nonna's. And
homemade?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was cool, and it was unique. It was something different that I'd never had before, right?
Yeah.
And then years later, I started making my own liqueurs and different Amaro and stuff like that, and it was a lot of fun. But we wanted to make sure that we included something that was a little nod to the original.
Okay, that's amazing. I didn't even never consider you could make your own limoncello.
Yeah.
Well, that's an amazing story, and I think you might have something in the works for us this morning. Is that true?
Yeah, we're going to do a couple cocktails.
Okay. Why don't we get started?
Okay, sure. So the first one we're going to do will be a limoncello spritz, and the reason we do that is because this is not a hard cocktail to make, and it's something that everybody can make at home. And in my opinion, I think a spritz is a great daytime cocktail.
Yes.
Which,
it's not so bad at night either.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll start off with that one and get an opportunity to kind of taste our products. We actually work with a farm in Palermo, Sicily, which is where we get all of our citrus product.
Oh, wow.
So it's cool because we actually can say that we have Sicilian lemon in our limoncello, which is pretty unique, I would think, for most places that have limoncello.
Mm-hmm. And I was reading a little bit on your site. Speaking of unique, you all have a lot of cocktails that you really can't get anywhere else in Louisville. What was the inspiration behind that, or some of the cocktails that you recommend we should try?
So one of the most interesting things on our menu right now is actually probably some of our NA products. So we actually, all right, I'll explain this better. Have you ever cooked with wine before?
I have,
Okay.
or I've seen people do it.
So you know that you need to cook the wine off, boil it to get all the alcohol out, and you don't have an alcohol flavor in your food, right?
Right.
But when you cook it, that creates flavor. It changes the flavor of the wine, right?
Okay.
So what we do is we actually vacuum distill the wine at a low temperature, which allows us to remove the alcohol while changing the flavor profile as little as possible.
Okay.
And then what we do is we recarbonate that in the cocktail bar so that you can order an NA sparkling wine that tastes like sparkling wine but doesn't have any alcohol.
That's so wonderful. That's very inclusive. I love that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I cook with wine a lot, but I don't normally put it in the food. So tell us a little bit about the process here.
Okay, so a limoncello spritz is a typical spritz build. It would be 3 ounces of Prosecco or sparkling wine, 2 ounces of limoncello, and 1 ounce of soda. And then what we'll do is we're going to top it off with some ice.
I think this is a very good breakfast cocktail. Lemons, fruit, citrus, part of a balanced breakfast.
Absolutely.
I love it. So what do you hope people take away from Prova? They're inspired to make in their own lives, or just some ingredients that they might add to their own cocktail repertoire?
I think that's the idea, right? We want to be able to provide some unique ingredients in Louisville, which is a city that obviously is known for bourbon, to show them that Louisville has more than bourbon.
Absolutely.
We have other flavors,
This is beautiful.
other ingredients that go well in cocktails outside of bourbon.
Absolutely. And bourbon gets old, I'll say it. Don't shoot the messenger, but I'm glad to have some different options.
Yeah, and we were thinking, we tried to design a lot of this, what can we make that would go well with bourbon, right? So a lot of our spirits are actually designed to be used in cocktails that would still have bourbon in them.
Right.
Or rye or anything along those sorts, and have an opportunity to...
That is gorgeous. I love that. I don't know if we have our little overhead to get how pretty she is from the top, but I am ecstatic here this morning. So other than the beautiful, obviously, cocktails, what is the experience like at Prova? What does the space feel like, and what's the vibe when you walk in?
So Prova is over on Liberty Street, right on the edge of Nulu and the Phoenix Hill neighborhood.
Oh, that's fabulous. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I gotta say.
I'm glad you like it.
I love that. What a great way to start the morning.
Absolutely. Prova, so it's kind of an older building. We have a lot of brick on the inside, but one of the things that's unique for our space, I think, is that it's really bright. We have glass windows everywhere.
Oh, I love that.
3 garage doors that can be opened up to really make a kind of like sunny, bright atmosphere. I love dark, moody, like speakeasy bars, but I also really like the opportunity to go into spaces that are really bright and welcoming.
Absolutely.
And that's the kind of space we try to cultivate for sure.
Yeah, and the dark moody is always fun, but it gets old after a while. It's nice to have a new, and this is a very fresh drink. You need the windows to be able to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on today. If you want to check out Prova Spirits, just go to provaspirits.com.